Down between the White House and Moscow over the fate of American journalist Evan Gershkovich, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. Arrested in Russia late last month, he's been charged now with espionage there. And just yesterday, President Biden spoke with his family after the State Department officially designated Gershkovich as wrongfully detained. That status putting the case now in the hands of Roger Carstens, the special presidential envoy for hostage affair. Mr. Carstens, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
It's good to talk to you. I know the president has talked to Evan's family. Have you? And what is the latest we know about his status, his health, his well-being?
So I had a chance to talk to his family a few days ago. Of course, I'm grateful that the president was able to call him yesterday. I'll have a chance to visit the family in the coming days. Typically, when a family is designated as a wrongful detainee, or an American is rather, we move over to wherever they're located in the United States or, frankly, around the world and spend time in their living room talking to the family, giving them a sense of how we plan to progress, to partner with the family and pursue the release of their loved one. In terms of how he's doing, we don't have that much information right now. As you know, the Russians have not yet granted consular access. We do have some reports coming out of a legal team that he seems to be okay and in good health and in good spirits. But Lefortovo prison is famous for isolating its captives, so we don't really have a strong sense yet, and hopefully we'll have a chance to gain consular access and be able to give you a better report.
As you mentioned, the administration has officially designated Evan Gershkovich wrongfully detained. This seems to be a diplomatic term of art, but what does it mean? What does that enable you to do to secure his release? What is the strategy?
What it does, when someone's declared to be wrongful, it gives us now the obligation required by law after the passage of the Levinson Act. That obligation requires us to go bring Evan home in this case. So instead of what you might have in a normal case where an American might be arrested, that American might be guilty, for example, or they may not be guilty, once someone's declared to be wrongful, that the United States government tries to harness all of its resources and start working for that release. And frankly, that's what we're doing now. We're trying to bring all elements of this government, and not just this government, but we're trying to partner with members on Capitol Hill, members of the media, frankly, third-party intermediaries, nonprofits, NGOs, and also the family to bring Evan home.
What leverage does the U.S. have over Russia when it comes down to negotiations? I mean, do you foresee this comes down to, as it did with Trevor Reed, as it did with Brittany Griner, a prisoner swap?
Well, I really can't get into the specifics. Every time we start negotiating in public, we start to my mind, we start to lose our leverage. We lose our ability to affect that release. So some things I think have to be done in secret so that we can maintain that open chain with the Russians to determine what's it going to take. But, you know, we've also been working on Paul Whelan's case for quite some time, and we have to find a way to get both Paul Whelan and Evan out. And frankly, it's going to be hard. It's never easy, but I'm confident that we'll find that way.
I'm glad you mentioned Paul Whelan. As you well know, he remains in a Russian prison, and his brother said recently if there were another prisoner swap that left him behind, it would be, quote, an unconscionable betrayal. In your mind, is this a package deal, Whelan and Gershkovich?
We're not sure yet. We're going to have to explore that with the Russians, and again, I'd like to keep those confidential for now. What I can tell you is that I definitely understand the frustration of the families. I talk to them all the time. I spend hours every day talking to family members. I've had a chance to spend a lot of time with the Whelan family discussing their case. And I can tell you that if it was my son or daughter, I would want them back yesterday. So I get their frustration, and we just have to keep working with the families and working with the other side to find a way to bring them home.
Larger question, Mr. Carstens. I mean, these are not easy situations, as you well know. Do you think that Russia has been emboldened or incentivized now to detain Americans wrongfully, knowing that then they can get these prisoner exchanges?
I don't think we can yet prove that. It's interesting in that the facts of the case, or the facts of these detentions, does not yet really support that conclusion. It might seem anecdotally that might be right, but I really can't say that the Russians are now doing this or feel emboldened because of previous negotiations that we've had with them.
And finally, I mean, he's a working journalist. You have said that the administration has said journalism is not a crime. The Russians have claimed that he was caught red-handed, in their words. Do you think this particular arrest was an attempt by Russia to intimidate the media covering the war in Ukraine?
I would hate to get into the heads of the Russians on this one. My job is really specifically just to find a way to bring Evan home. And to do that, we're bringing the whole power of the U.S. government into this negotiation. We will, whether the Russians took him for reason A or reason B, Hopefully we'll define that as time goes forward. But the most important thing to know is that this president, this administration, and certainly the Secretary of State are committed to finding a way to bring Evan and Paul Whelan home.
All right, Special Envoy Roger Carstens, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.